In today's video, we're diving into the impact of former President Trump's administration on America's commitment to combating climate change. From the controversial withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement to the repeal of the Clean Power Plan, we're uncovering the significant policy shifts that have led to an increased carbon footprint and weakened state efforts. Join us as we analyze how expanded fossil fuel extraction, rollbacks on methane and vehicle emissions standards, and cuts to renewable energy have all contributed to a stark departure from the country's carbon reduction goals. This is a critical conversation about the future of environmental policy in the United States. 1. Withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement. One of the most significant moves by the Trump administration was the formal withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement. This landmark international accord was a collective effort to combat climate change by limiting global warming to well below 2 degrees Celsius. By withdrawing, the U.S. reneged on its pledge to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 26–28% below 2005 levels by 2025. This withdrawal sent a message to the world that the U.S. was stepping back from its leadership role in climate change mitigation. It was akin to a ship captain abandoning course in the middle of a storm, leaving the crew and passengers bewildered and directionless. 2. Repeal of the Clean Power Plan. The Clean Power Plan was a cornerstone of the Obama administration's strategy to reduce emissions from the electricity sector. It set ambitious targets for reducing carbon pollution from power plants. However, the Trump administration replaced it with the far weaker Affordable Clean Energy (ACE) rule. This new rule not only delayed progress but also allowed states more leeway to set their own, often less stringent, emissions targets. It was like replacing a high-performance engine with a less efficient one, slowing down the race to a cleaner energy future. 3. Expanded fossil fuel extraction. Under Trump's leadership, the expansion of fossil fuel extraction on federal lands and waters was encouraged. This move increased carbon emissions and contradicted efforts to transition to renewable energy sources like wind and solar. The administration's policies favored oil, gas, and coal industries, treating them as the backbone of the American economy. It was as if the nation chose to ride a horse-drawn carriage in the age of electric vehicles, clinging to outdated technologies despite the availability of cleaner alternatives. 4. Methane rollbacks. Methane is a potent greenhouse gas, and the Obama administration had put rules in place to curb emissions from oil and gas operations. The Trump administration, however, rolled back these regulations, allowing more methane to seep into the atmosphere. This rollback was the equivalent of opening floodgates on a river trying to be tamed, undoing efforts to control a powerful force contributing to global warming. The decision prioritized short-term industry profits over long-term environmental health. 5. Vehicle emission standards rollback. Transportation is the largest source of greenhouse gases in the U.S., and vehicle emission standards are crucial in reducing these emissions. The Trump administration significantly weakened these standards, effectively increasing transportation-related emissions. This rollback was akin to removing the brakes from a speeding car, ensuring that the nation's emissions trajectory continued unabated. It was a clear step back from efforts to promote cleaner, more fuel-efficient vehicles on American roads. 6. Focus on coal revival. The Trump administration's focus on reviving the coal industry was another blow to carbon reduction efforts. By promoting coal-fired power plants and removing emissions controls, the administration stalled programs aimed at phasing out coal. This move reversed years of declining coal usage and was akin to reigniting a once-dwindling flame, despite the availability of cleaner energy sources. The emphasis on coal contradicted global trends toward renewable energy and sustainable practices. 7. Federal renewable energy cuts. Funding for renewable energy research and deployment was slashed during Trump's presidency. This decision hampered progress in developing wind, solar, and battery storage technology, which are vital for a sustainable energy future. It was as if the nation decided to stop planting seeds in a fertile field, choosing instead to rely on depleted resources. This cutback hindered innovation and slowed down the transition to a low-carbon economy. 8. Removal of climate science from decision-making. rebuilding climate science was sidelined under the Trump administration, with climate change excluded as a factor in federal decision-making. This exclusion restricted the use of climate models in policy formulation, effectively ignoring the scientific community's warnings and insights. It was like navigating a ship without a compass, disregarding the tools and knowledge needed to chart a safe course. This move left policymakers blind to the potential impacts of their decisions on the environment. 9. Weakening state climate effort. By revoking California's authority to set stricter emissions standards, Trump undermined state-level initiatives aimed at exceeding federal targets. This action weakened the ability of states to lead the charge in combating climate change. It was like clipping the wings of a bird mid-flight, preventing it from soaring to new heights. States that wanted to pursue more aggressive climate policies found their efforts stifled by federal intervention. 10. Increased U.S. carbon footprint. The cumulative effect of these actions was a significant increase in the U.S.'s carbon footprint. The rollback of environmental regulations and the promotion of fossil fuels reversed previous gains in carbon reduction. This increase weakened America's credibility on the global stage and delayed the transition to a low-carbon future. It was as if a gardener neglected a thriving garden, allowing weeds to overtake the once flourishing landscape. The challenge of rebuilding climate policy under subsequent administrations became even more daunting.